Chris John from where-to-go-to-the-poop.com, and today we're playing Icebreaker Viking Voyage, developed by Nitro, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and published by Rovio under their Rovio Stars label, which is a new thing. So Rovio, not content with making their own 3-star physics puzzlers, are reaching out to other companies to make 3-star physics puzzlers for them. But actually, that's kind of being a little bit dismissive of this game, which I think has a lot of charm, and it's certainly something that's gathering a lot of steam on the App Store at the moment. So, there's about sort of 100 levels in the initial download, as you might expect from a sort of Rovio-backed game. There's more coming soon and lots of updates, so, value for money for your $1.85 yen or what have you. So let's jump into a couple of interesting levels here. So the idea is, or it's going to be fairly familiar to you if you've played anything like Cut the Rope. It's that similar kind of thing of you making cutting motions with your finger to either cut through blocks of ice or to cut ropes, really, in order to solve physics puzzles and to attain a goal. In this case, the goal is I've got to get my little Viking man onto a boat with his Viking buddy, is the objective here. So, for instance, I'm going to take advantage of this big, massive, heavy block of ice. Let that fall down. I've done this before, which is why I can just about figure it out. Be drowned in that. But I have to chop through the ice block there in order to make it light enough for the birds to fly up, and then do that, and then do that. Oh, and then zoom in on the wrong area. And have him fall neatly onto the boat. Hurrah! And some of the Vikings will be trapped in ice and what have you, and the little guy, your Viking man on the boat, will break the ice for him and free the captive Vikings. So it's a formula you've seen kind of done 1,000 times before, but it's all in the way you dress it up. And this is dressed up in a nice, kind of friendly and charming way, with a couple of kind of funny nods and bits of humour here. I suppose this is probably the best example of it, is our bearded shopkeeper. So it's it's self-aware. There's only so far you can get with that kind of humor, but in general it kind of walks that line quite well, I think, does Icebreaker, and it does it in such a way that it isn't too condescending and irritating, and isn't actual fact kind of funny. So yeah, one of the power-ups you can get as you go through, there'll be little tutorials that'll teach you how to use the purchasable power-ups that you get as you play. So with this one I can touch and drag and just navigate the guy through the level. I've already gotten the coins here, so... Oh, for shame on me. Can't figure out how to do this there. So yeah, it's you know, even the fact that you have in-game power-ups that you have to spend real money on to buy, you know, is nothing new. And in actual fact, wow, blimey, I've never really looked at the shop before, but everything that's in the shop is pretty darned expensive, starting at 170 yen, so starting at $2 and getting progressively more pricey from there. But if you play the game the way it was intended, I suppose, then you do have good value for money and some nice, well-designed puzzles. Again, nothing that's gonna, you know, really sort of push the boundaries of puzzle gaming and change the way you look at things forever. But they're decent, they're well designed, and they're done with a nice sort of visual flair and charm. So I'll just embarrass myself here trying to do a puzzle that I haven't done yet. Let's see what happens if I cut that. And then cut him. Whoa, I think I screwed this up already. So you can see there's a lot of kind of trial and error, and that was a stupid move. The further you go, you know, the less likely it's going to be that you're going to be able to pull these solutions off on your first try, especially as you're kind of, as you might be able to see here, a lot of the cuts require a certain amount of timing to be able to pull off correctly, so you have to kind of go with the momentum. I screwed that up. You have to go with the momentum of your guy as he's falling, and then make a very precise cut in one go. And I guess that can be a little bit irritating. What just happened there can be extremely irritating when, especially I suppose if you're playing on a phone, you kind of have to zoom in to do everything, because your fingertip will be too big and you'll wind up slicing 2 ropes instead of 1 accidentally. And yet, I think if you zoom in, then you're not seeing enough of the stage. So that's a kind of a little bit of an irritating part of design. But you know, I think it's kind of splitting hairs. This is, I think, as good as this type of game is going to be. It's, as I say, it's just not a genre that's kind of pushing games interesting places anymore, if it ever was. It's just purely based around, you know, do you like the kind of theme of what's happening here? Do you like the gimmick that it's pushing? And if you do, and you can kind of tell whether you do or whether you don't, just based on the amount of this video that you've seen already, you know, and if it looks like something you might like, then you'll like it. And if you think you've seen this kind of thing 1,000 times before, then yeah, you have. It's not bad, it's not great, it's serviceable, it's cheap, it's pretty decent. It's Icebreaker, Viking Voyage. It's out now. That's the end of my promotional spiel. My name's Chris Charlton. The website is wheredoesgodzillapoop.com for video games and subculture from Japan. Thanks for watching.